people in stock photos. What's the weirdest way you've seen your photos being used? I'll let a photographer friend take a stock photo of me. I looked sad in it and it ended up on some website about victims of abuse. What kind of abuse? This sounds interesting. It was general like, don't be a victim. I think the website was run by a city in California. How did you feel about that? Weird at first, but kind of funny afterward. It was a good icebreaker. I didn't even know I was in a stock photo until my grandma bought a picture frame at Sears with my T-ball teen picture in it. They saved her a step. I ended up finding myself on one of those "now hiring" posts on Facebook for a company I was trying to get hired at. He's literally the guy in the picture. Imagine going in for interviews and seeing this guy walk in ahead of you and then looking at the wall and seeing his damn face on the hiring poster. Triple bonus points if he wears that same outfit to interview. Interviewer discreetly but urgently wondering if his cold meds are kicking in too hard or if the receptionist is seeing this also. My whole family modeled back in the 80s. Somehow my dad ended up in a brochure for some born again church that said he was a sinner and adulterer until he found Jesus. This takes place many years ago when foreigners were a rare sight in Japan. I'm a big, friendly looking white guy, and I was asked to do some photos of a couple on a date. So I go around to some scenic locals with a beautiful Japanese woman, the photographer, and his assistants. Fun day, took tons of romantic photos, and that was the end of it. Until a month or two later when my date and I showed up on posters all over the subway as part of an AIDS awareness campaign. Because you can catch that from foreigners, you know. Needless to say, my friends and co-workers thought it was hilarious, and amazingly it didn't have any noticeable impact on my dating life. Looking back, my only regret is that I didn't steal one of the posters. I'm in the header of my university's grad school application. Whenever someone posts a screenshot of their acceptance email, Facebook facial recognition asks if I want to tag myself. Do you tag yourself? I got accepted to UT's nursing program again. The university took a bunch of professional photos of me and some friends for their billboards and campaigns. I was pretty surprised to open a handbook and find out I was the face of their fine arts program, especially pottery. I was a neuroscience major. The same thing happened to me at my college, except it was just a general brochure about the campus. Grandma put it on the fridge. She was so proud of my short stint as a model. This happened to my mom. She was put on her school's master degree brochure. She went back to school for it when I was about 13 and she had a short hair phase because it was easy maintenance. There is a picture of her with bags under eyes with short boy hair on a brochure somewhere. Sort of funny. I googled my husband's name and a picture of him has been mistaken and mislabeled as Ann Coulter's husband. Ha ha ha, now we're talking. Why are you talking to Ann Coulter? Probably to confirm her husband isn't secretly married to Ann Coulter as well as her. I have some friends that found one of their wedding pictures from Facebook somehow printed on a pillow in a market in a Middle Eastern country. Like, they just randomly happened upon their wedding photo in a random street market. They are from the US. Okay, but did they buy the pillow? Yeah, how could they leave that detail out? The nerve of some people. My family did a stock photo shoot when our kids were young, like 1 and 3. A picture they took on our porch ended up in the opening credits for The Americans. I'm in an ad campaign in my home state in Australia for the government. I'm the face of "Don't buy alcohol for underage people." It's just me looking like a dad who's thinking of buying a drink, obviously for a teenager somewhere. Ironically, I don't actually have my own kids. I get emails from people I haven't heard from in years saying, "I saw you on the wall of the bottle shop," which is kinda funny. LMAO, I see this exact ad every second day. Sup dad. My friend was in a stock photo where he held up a baby picture and it got used for an anti-circumcision ad campaign. Was pretty shocked when I saw his face on the side of a bus. I'm legitimately in tears laughing at this. It's just so absurd to see your friend's face on the side of bus being anti-circumcision. At least there's ads like that. Progress boys, progress. My husband and I did stock photos when I was pregnant with our first. I ended up seeing myself later on the side of a bus as well as in a pamphlet for young moms. flattering, at my doctor's office. The more interesting part, though, is that my husband took part in another family shoot, various poses cooking in the kitchen etc. Years later I was looking up a colleague on Facebook and her cover photo was her and my husband chopping vegetables in a stock photo. My cousin took a photo of me wrestling my sister at a family reunion a few years back and it somehow wound up on an online forum about domestic abuse. I had a few of my friends messaging me who were obviously very confused. Lol, why were a few of your friends on a domestic abuse forum? One person finds it and says, yo, is this Greg? To another and it gets passed around. I was asked to go to a big opening event party for a park in China. As a foreigner, this kind of thing is pretty common. They want some white faces, free food and drink. All the other guests had to pay, but in the end they start guilt tripping me. Put on this traditional Chinese costume, they say, some kind of kung fu looking robe thing. Let us take some pictures. They say, fine, I'll let them do it. A few weeks go by and random people start pointing me out in public. My students are giggling in class. Finally when I'm out and about someone approaches me. Are you the guy from? And shows me a picture on the phone. My likeness in Chinese traditional wear has been printed on building sized billboards around the city. I look goofy as fuck all around the city where I live and work. My ex used to work with a local photographer who is apparently pretty well known. He took a photo of me and my family and now it's a permanent piece at the New Mexico Museum of Art in Santa Fe. So strange. I wonder how many people's houses I'm in. I don't live too far from there. Now I kinda wanna search for that picture next time I go. I got used as a person with intellectual disabilities. I also did not know my photo was going to be used for anything. Maybe your inability to make medium-term memories is why this was a shock to you. Utterly savage. I had my photo taken in high school studying with my friend at the time. Almost 5 years later, my brother said I was in the county brochure for library services. The picture was most likely chosen cause of the diversity. Asian girl and a black girl. This reminded me of my college in the UK. They used a photo of two non-white students taken by an in-house photographer on the front page of their international students office brochure. The issue is that both students in that photo were British, born and raised. They were not happy. When I was 17, a friend of mine asked me if I could help him with some pictures he was working on for a project for college. We used our other friend's attic and he took a couple of pictures of me in a suit in front of a typewriter. He really liked one of the pictures and he ended up asking me if I would be okay with him having it be part of a small gallery show he was doing at the local coffee shop. They often had a small show and then put up the work to decorate the place and, if people were interested they could buy them. I told him that I didn't mind and it was cool seeing my picture up at a place we went to so often. Well, my picture ended up actually being bought, which I did not expect at all. So, there is someone out there that has a framed picture of me, possibly decorating their wall or mantle. Which is weird to think. He gave me a print for myself of it, and it is a pretty cool picture. It's not stock photography, but it's definitely something that's strange for me to think about. In college, a photography student took some pictures of me playing classical guitar. I ended up in a Viagra ad. I was 19. College must have been rough. Yeah, my penis still has scars. You are probably joking, but I knew a guy who had a hard lesson when he was in college about how rings should be removed before a hand job. The ones in his penis, or the ones on her fingers. Not me, but my best friend. He did a photo shoot in some construction worker garb and a hard hat. We live in North Carolina, USA. I'm on a business trip in Chicago, and I stopped by a Walmart for some supplies. I'm in the men's work clothes aisle and there's my buddy prominently on the wrapping of 50-ish packages of work shirts. It was a weird, wait, where am I? moment. I knew he did some modeling, but not specifics. I sent him a pic. He had no idea it had been used. The guy is in every Walmart in the country and had no idea. My father is a photographer and so my sister and I were models for stock photography. I was on shopping bags in Mexico. My sister was in a bank brochure. My favorite though is when my sister's high school science class was reading from a textbook and she sees a picture of me putting mascara on in a mirror. She yelled out to the class, "Hey, that's my sister." Apparently it gave everyone a good laugh. On a less funny note, I was a kinda chubby kid, so my dad did a whole shoot of me in a grey tracksuit looking sad on a scale and pinching my belly fat in the mirror, etc. Ended up on being used in a child obesity campaign. He didn't tell me what it was used in until years later. You have been visited by the happy husky. Like the video and you will experience happiness within the next 24 hours.